All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, Jets Seahawks this Sunday, 1 o'clock, Seahawks cross-country trip to New York or to New Jersey to take on this Jets team that is reeling right now. I mean, it's storyline after storyline, drama here, drama there, quarterback questions, ownership questions. Who's going to be the next GM? Who's going to be the next head coach? We had the report, I believe it was a week and a half ago, talking about how some of the players are already checked out on this season, and it's just kind of a waiting game for it to be over. So it's obviously not what you want to hear from your favorite team, you know, the weekend after Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous. And really, until we see an actual change on the field, because we hear the team talk all the time, right? We hear about the great weeks of practice. We hear about the areas that they need to improve. We hear about, you know, what the coaches need to do to fix these issues, but it's all the same story on Sunday. Slow starts. It's just, you know, a complete nightmare. There's really no point to dive through each individual negative in every single game. We all know it. We all watch this team on Sundays, and it's not fun at all. We look at how the Jets have done against the NFC West. We have gotten our doors blown off by the Arizona Cardinals, 31-6, and obviously way back in week 1 against the 49ers, right, cross-country trip, Jets going to to San Fran. They destroyed the Jets, especially on the ground game. No Christian McCaffrey. But before we dive into the preview, I did want to give a special shout out to SeatGeek, today's video sponsor, the #1 rated ticketing app that's out there. You know, they have over 70,000 live events ranging from, you know, basketball just started up. So you got NBA, NFL, college football. You can go to concerts and whatnot. They have this sweet and I talk about it every time, but they have this sweet ticketing kind of grading system through the app. So you can see, all right, am I getting a good deal? Am I not getting a good deal? It's basically color coded. Green is good. Red is not so good. And it's based off of a number scale as well. So a 1 through 10. So if you have a green number 8, like personally, I feel good about checking out because it's like, hey, you know what? I got a sweet deal here. Depending on, of course, price, but also position within the stadium, you know, how valuable are those seats, as opposed to, you know, checking out and the tickets that you're getting are expensive and they're graded as a red 1. You're like, you know what, let me kind of sort through and see if there's another, like a better option out there on the site. So I love how they have that kind of clarity within their own app, which is, again, you know, for me, really, really helpful. And if you use code Jetscentral, you'll get $20 off your first purchase through SeatGeek. Anyway, shout out to them. Back to the vid. So we look ahead to this game, the second place Seattle Seahawks, right? 6-5 on the season. Geno Smith, one of my favorite players in the game, is doing a pretty good job, right? The Seahawks actually have one of the best passing attacks in the National Football League. They throw the ball a ton under Ryan Grubb. Geno's completing a high percentage of passes at just over 69%, and they're actually second in passing yards per game at 257. I mean, that's a lot of yards. Now, ironically, when it comes to the ground game, they're not all that effective. So it's obviously an offense that relies on the passer. It relies on the quarterback. It relies on the play caller. You know, and when you are averaging this many yards per game, and you also have a quarterback who's completing 69% of his passes, I mean, that's a recipe for success in a lot of different areas. You're probably going to win a lot of football games. Throw on top of it that they're kind of middle of the road on third downs and red zone, you know, your chances are you're going to be in a lot of football games. And that's exactly what we see in the Seattle Seahawks, again, a 6-5 football team. So I do think this game is going to come down to Geno Smith's arm against this Jets defense. You know, the Jets defense, man, it drives me up a wall. I love defensive football. I love it. I love the physicality. I love the aggression. I love the hitting. I love interceptions. I love forced fumbles. I love sacking the quarterback. I love all of it. I love confusing the quarterback, internal, you know, pressure right up the middle, forcing quarterbacks to escape. I just love it, right? The kind of the intimidation factor of safeties and linebackers. But the Jets don't play like that whatsoever. Outside of maybe a Quincy Williams, a Will McDonald, and a Jeremy Sherwood, and also DJ Reed, it just has not been the same. And one thing that you can kind of hang your hat on as a Jet fan every single season, no matter the quarterback, no matter the losses, no matter the head coach, good defense. Good defense. Good defense under Rex Ryan, good defense under Todd Bowles, good defense under Greg Williams, good defense under Robert Saleh. But now all of a sudden it's just been atrocious. Tackling, effort, run defense, penalties, it's play calling on defense, busted coverages on defense. It's just been a massive issue. So, again, when we're just taking a look at the pure matchup, I felt like Arizona was a horrible matchup for the Jets. Horrible. Why? Because they were such a good rushing team. And you look at their kind of faces of the team, faces of the offense. Kyler, Connor, Harrison, McBride, right? These players do very, very well in one-on-one situations, whether it's like a one-on-one route, wide out versus corner, Kyler Murray in open field, James Conner squaring up like a, outside linebacker to, pull him down on open field. The Cardinals do a great job in those matchups, and the Jets are, again, it's so bad. With the Seahawks, though, on the other hand, I do think the matchup is better, compared to Arizona, where the Seahawks are struggling against the run. Now, you can argue because, New York's, performance has not been there. Could this be like a get-right game for Seattle? That's a fair point. But I do think the tendencies so far that we've seen through Seattle this season, it has been, we are going to win by throwing the football. We are going to throw the football. Geno has been effective at it. That's what Ryan Grubb was so effective with back at Washington, right? With Penix and whatnot. So I think that's the philosophy. They're not going to really try to change things up unless, of course, they have success on the ground early where they're getting that 4 or 5 yards per carry. Then it could be a massive issue because then it just opens everything up. And then if you flip it and look at the opposite, battle here, the Jets offense against the Seattle Seahawks defense, I'm hoping the offensive line can hold up. I'm excited for Olu. I'm excited for, some of these guys to have opportunities. Because, yes, of course, the Jets offensive line has struggled this season, but there has been a couple bright spots, and there will be guys that will be on the roster next season. So, you look at the Seattle Seahawks, how they play on defense. It's a very physical defense. I mean, Byron Murphy, I personally feel like has been great this season. Like, what a foundational piece for Seattle moving forward. And plus, I would say they're coming off, trying to think back to their schedule, I think they're coming off their best defensive performance against that's, the team that we're talking about here in the Arizona Cardinals continuously. So, can Seattle's defense keep this up? There was a period in the season where Seattle lost, I believe, 2 or 3 straight games because of their defense. Do they kind of dip back down or do they maintain that strong performance? Only time will tell. We'll see what happens this Sunday. We'll see how Aaron Rodgers and co. fares against this Mike McDonald defense. I don't want to say revenge game for Geno Smith, but a quick little side note on Geno, man. Still one of my favorite players in the game. I love how he handled himself post. I liked him when he was here. I felt like he wasn't really in the best position to have success, being thrown in as a rookie and whatnot. And, yes, of course, the numbers weren't there, but like he would make throws like the eye test. I would be like shocked by, right? Like you could tell he had a lot of potential, and you can make similar arguments with Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson, right? Guys with a lot of potential, but maybe they're thrown out too early and they don't have the best supporting cast, whether that's personnel around them or coaches. And, in the end, it doesn't work out. But Geno kind of took the high road and said, hey, you know what? I got to get back to square one. I'm going to learn from some of the best quarterbacks that have ever done it. Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson. And I'm just going to take my time and learn. I'm going to watch how these guys do it, and I will get another shot one day. And that's exactly what happened. And he hasn't really looked back since. So Seahawks, Jets, we'll see how it plays out. Enjoy your Friday. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And as always, go Jets.